Welcome back. Today we are going over the topic of which province in Tamriel the next game will take place in the Elder Scrolls series, which has been talked about by fans more than once. Now this does come to no surprise, as it's been 6 years since Bethesda has released Skyrim, while doing everything they can, it seems, to push back the 6th installment. I felt it was time to fill the void of oblivion and take a bit of a closer look at the options in Tamriel to where our new journey can begin. So let's get to it. And I wanted to start off with looking at a province that adds a whole new dynamic to the game, and that is Valenwood. Now I say add a new dynamic because Valenwood is mostly a lush rainforest, and the last 6 years we've kind of mostly been in ice and snow. But seriously, with its subtropical climate and massive rainforests, it's bound to make the gameplay feel different with its massive trees and different creatures that Bethesda will be able to incorporate into that type of climate. Now, in Tamriel, Valenwood isn't one of the bigger provinces, but it is rich with history and is split up into 4 main regions and has 8 cities across them. And we'll start off with looking at Gratwood, which is home to the province capital Eldenroot, which is built on and around the ancient Grat Oak, and most of the region is dense with jungle containing many of those Grat Oaks. Depending on how big Bethesda decides to make these trees, they could consider on having some caves or different types of treasures within them, which we would have to go and explore. Being that these trees are so large, a lot of the canopy is used for the settlements throughout the cities, so I do feel that that could be a huge influence on how we are going to see a lot of the architecture being built throughout these jungles. Next up, we have Malblator. And this is the other region with jungle, but it is much smaller in scale compared to Gratwood, and contains the city Sylvanar, which is the spiritual center of Valenwood, where most of the city is built within the branches of the giant Grat Oaks. Again, like I mentioned before, I do feel that anywhere that there's a jungle, we're going to see a lot of the architecture of the buildings being within the trees. Knowing that this region is the spiritual center of Valenwood, I do hope that they kind of do a play on that, and the jungle, that small jungle itself, has its own spirit or life of its own, and we do see that replicated throughout the trees. Maybe they come to life, or the creatures themselves are protecting the jungle so that you can't explore certain areas until you find something. So that would be a neat aspect to incorporate throughout the game. Reaper's March is the third region to mention in Valenwood. There's not much to say about it, but what you should note is that Cyrodiil and elsewhere are its neighboring regions, and we could see a lot of the architecture and buildings influenced by that. So the Khajiits and the Colovians could have a lot of their temples or ruins with their architecture and not that of Valenwood's. And the last region is Greenshade, and this one really excites me because of the Wilder King. Now, this guy resides in the city of Greenheart, and the reason why I say excites me is because the Wilder King is said to embody a human with an innate and powerful control over nature, and is responsible for the balance of that nature, which I think could be an amazing side quest. But I know Bethesda, and they probably already have plans for that if Valenwood becomes our new home. Think about it, a Wilder King, big jungles, what more could you ask for if that's going to be our new place to explore? The last thing to really note about Valenwood is that it's had some trouble through the ages with leadership. Now this of course could add a really neat dynamic to the game if the Thalmor government had a really heavy presence throughout the game, and the province itself being so close to the Thalmor homeland in Somerset Isles. But who knows, every time Bethesda releases a game, it's always farther along in the timeline, which is fine, but it could be an interesting concept to make a game that takes place back in the First Era, which is doubtful, but it could happen, who knows. But that's going to wrap it up today, guys, for a look at where our new home for the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place. Thanks again for watching, guys, and if you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more Elder Scrolls lore that's to come.